Hey yo, what's up? It's your boy coming at you with another video. Make sure you hit that like button and the subscribe button and share it with your friends. That's really all that matters to us. Metrics, numbers. We're going big on YouTube. What up, Briar?
Not much. Speaking of going big on YouTube, today we're talking about something that's gotten very big on YouTube, which is a bit of a deviation from this show's usual format. We don't get too topical with it, but there was something big going around lately, and it's kind of core to like the big theme, the big takeaway of this show. So I thought it'd be a good thing to talk about this week.
Yeah, so I assume you're talking about the wonderful and illustrious hbomberguy video.
Yeah, our boy in Britain has blown up another career, and I'm here to talk about it.
Ooh, I love it so much. I love it so much.
Yeah, so a lot of people, I assume, probably, I don't know, at this point, at the time of recording, we have a very small audience, so people may or may not have heard about this by now, but what's going around is today we're using this as a little bit of a springboard. We're going over this video from our good boy, the video essay person, hbomberguy. He's talking about plagiarism on YouTube, and he lays out this case for like some pretty egregious theft and sloppy content on our favorite platform on the internet.
Yeah, and I love this one specifically for I mean it's first of all, it's just a really well done video in general, but it's not only does this person manage to make great content in an era of slop content, but also manages to be anti-slop at the same time. It's not enough to just make good content. You have to be anti-slop now. We have to fight back against the slop.
Yeah, we live in a world where oftentimes we just can't have nice things, and it's not enough to put out good content. You have to take a big shit on people who put out bad content. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about some really bad, sloppy content. I feel like this is a word, the word slop. We've used this like quite a few times in the show by now already, but maybe we should open with like, what do we mean when we talk about like sloppy content on YouTube? Just like slop content in general?
Yeah, that's a good question. I've been thinking about that myself. And if you wanna put it in very succinctly, it's high engagement, low effort.
Ooh, that's really good. Yeah, slop content is like this. So we're talking about slop, but the word content is also key to this, because I think when we say the word content, we're kind of differentiating that from like things that matter in a way. Like when I think about things that aren't content, I think about like a good book, a good novel, that's literature. I think about like artwork that I like to see on Twitter, that's art and illustration, or like animation, like good films, that's cinema.
Right.
But a lot of people who make like videos on YouTube, like a lot of them do have aspirations to like make like cool cinematic stuff. They want to get into filmmaking. And then there are people who don't want to do that, who they just want to make content, like videos to be consumed kind of passively, stuff you turn on in the background to just get through your day. But it's the sort of stuff that's really not meant to be like dissected or looked at under a microscope, or like really just like it goes in one ear and out the other, if you know what I mean.
Well, the junk food of media, right?
Yeah, it's junk food. It's empty calories for your brain.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing, which I was also thinking about the term content and what it means. And I guess the differentiation is it content or is it art?
Yeah, most of the time, I would say the vast majority of what you see on YouTube, or just basically any social media nowadays, it's probably just content. There are some exceptions, of course, like I'm still on twitter.com, now known as X, I guess. And most of the people I follow on there are artists, because I like seeing pictures of like big titty elf women, or like
who doesn't?
big titty goblin women,
yeah.
or like or like big titty like space alien. Like this is besides the point. I like seeing art on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. Me too.
On Twitter.com, not on YouTube. Although I guess there are some art channels on YouTube as well. Whatever. But most of the stuff we see on social media, it's like it feels like it's almost antithetical to having effort put into it. You know, because it's really meant to be put out like quickly and consumed quickly and just kind of thrown away.
Well, I mean, that's a thing too, and I think that's how the as nice as it is that we live in a time where there are these platforms which are fairly democratic in the sense that anybody can make anything, and they can upload it to this forum that theoretically anybody can view anything on, and they might see it organically or anything like that. Well, there's no curation there as well. So what drives somebody to do this? Well, maybe back in a certain era, it was just for the love of the game. But from our perspective, would you spend 6 months making a very well produced video essay to perhaps have it like be seen by nobody? I mean, there's really no financial incentive there, and like there's a very big roadblock to putting an immense amount of effort into something that may just be completely ignored.
Yeah, we've touched on this before when we talk about the internet of the past and how this entire digital ecosystem, if I can be a little pretentious, how it used to really just be founded by a bunch of like tech savvy nerds who were really in it and just making it for the love of the game. That's a phrase we like to go back to, the love of the game, where there was no financial incentive, or if there was very little. And like I'm not naive. Obviously, at every point in the internet, there was definitely like a social incentive. We talk a lot about clout as this thing nowadays, and I think that's always existed online and offline as well. Like if you make something cool, people are going to look up to you. Even back in the day when everybody was on these like tiny little internet forums, there was a bit of like, I hate to say it, but like kind of some gravitas to like a person with like 11,000 posts telling you to like fuck off versus like some other random nobody on like a website or whatever.
No, absolutely. And they were microcosms of like actual human communities where you weren't getting directly incentivized with money, but you definitely got social clout. And I mean, that's really at the end of the day what we're all looking towards. If we lived in some futuristic world where there was no money or financial incentives to do anything, people would still do stuff because we like, generally, as humans, we like clout, we like influence, and that makes us feel good. We are social animals.
Yeah, I know a lot of people who talk naively, in my opinion, about like, oh, if we just dealt with money and there was no such thing as money, the world would be like perfectly like chill and happy. And no, I don't agree with that. I think there's always going to be people who like attention, who crave like adoration or like maybe like annoyance from others. Like some people just love to be like a shit ass little troll on the internet as well. That's a whole different thing, but this whole conversation about slop content and what it means, I think this is something that's really started very much in like the past year or so. Maybe a few people were getting on about it like a little bit sooner, but it feels like it's really come to the forefront of a lot of people's minds. Like we said in a previous episode, of everybody getting kind of sick of what the internet is nowadays. And if we go back to the start of this, I want to talk about like the most basic, like base form, obvious type of slop content there is. And there's a couple examples of that. Like when we think of sloppy content, some stuff that comes to mind is like anything generated by like a bot or like some AI generator bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, like if you try to find any information on Google nowadays, like none of that shit you look up is written by people. It's all these stupid little listicles that were just like pumped out by an algorithm trading together like some keywords together. And like that stuff is worthless. That nobody has like any use for that.
Right. So that's what I was thinking is like if capitalism dissolved overnight, we would not be free of slop content by any means. But those kind of like just content mill, just like completely like corporate generated, just click farm type of shit probably would not really exist anymore, because that's really all it is. There's nobody there that's looking for adoration or anything like that. That's really just like click-through rate, money, monetized ad revenue bullshit, right?
Yeah, for sure. And I would say that's like the second tier of slop content, where like even if it was made by real people, like there's no heart put into it. Nobody makes this stuff because they think it's genuinely good or useful, or at least like, God, I hope they don't. If they do, they're very delusional.
Yeah.
But even if there's like a human element like behind it, like it was made by real people, like it's just put out there to be clicked. It's just there to get angry clicks. It's there to have like a big attention grabbing title that makes you like take a peek and ooh, now some advertiser earned like 3 cents because you looked at the advertisement for like a few seconds. And that's nobody likes that either. I'd say that's like the second tier of slop.
Yeah, well I don't think like the people who make like stock music or like those shitty vector illustrations that you see in every like corporate PowerPoint or like anything like that, I don't think they would be like, or also journalists who just do like just complete fucking bullshit like click farm journalism articles about complete nonsense. From what I understand from the people I've known who do that, none of them would like be offended if you were like, this is shit. They're doing that because they got a journalism degree or they got like a fine art or a graphic design degree and they have bills to pay. But they're not identifying with this is a part of me. They're doing this like completely for money.
Yeah, absolutely. Like to people like you and I who are like the viewers of this stuff, we think, oh, this is dog shit. Like there's no human element here. This isn't made for anybody to actually enjoy. Mm-hmm. And for them as like the creators of this stuff, they're like, yeah, I'm completely like fucking alienated from like this. Like I don't care what this is. I'm just entering words into the word processor to get a paycheck at the end of the day.
Yeah, exactly.
And like that's a sad arrangement.
Right. And the only people who are really behind this shit are corporate executives and some upper echelon of garbage that you know they're just demanding this shit so that they can get money.
Yeah, for sure. If I was to ask you out of the blue, what's the earliest instance of like real slop content you can remember seeing on the internet? What comes to your mind?
Oh man, that's a really, really good question. I
have a clear answer, but I want to hear yours first.
I don't know. You go first. Maybe you'll jog my memory, but maybe I've been inundated by slop for so long that I just can't even think of it.
Time becomes a blur if you gaze long enough into the sloppy abyss.
Right.
Just that puckered asshole of darkness. For me, there's probably some earlier ones, and I might have the year off on this. I want to say this was like maybe like 2015, 2016 something. Do you remember? This was big on YouTube for kids YouTube, YouTube Kids, whatever they call it. The classic Spider-Man and Elsa videos.
Oh man, well, I've seen the creators who have gone into this, and that shit is fucking horrifying. That shit is fucking horrifying.
All of those people are perverts. They should be locked up in like an institution.
100%. And I've seen like the rabbit hole and how deep it goes, and there's like weird like multi-level content mills with like a ton of different YouTube channels that have done, and I think that was the onus for like when we upload our things and it's like, is this for kids? I think that's when they started to do that.
There's an entire story behind that. It was really fucked up. We'll probably do a proper episode on like kids YouTube, because that's well beyond our time. YouTube was not a thing when I was a kid, or when Dave was either.
Yeah, for sure.
But the Spider-Man Elsa stuff, for those who don't know, for one, God, I envy you so badly. For two, it was like these weird like skit videos where like I don't think they really did any talking in the videos. It was all just like weird mumbling, like the sound, the mouth noises people make in like Nintendo games.
Yeah,
and they were like dressed up as Spider-Man and Elsa, because I guess Frozen was really popular at the time.
Yeah,
or something like that. And they just did all these like weird things. It was like Elsa gets pregnant and injected with this thing, and now she's got a poop or whatever.
Yeah, it was like a bunch of weird fetishes rolled into one, just algorithmically crafted to just be pushed to like iPad kids who are just left unsupervised on the internet for 6 hours at a time. Which, I mean, that's a different thing, which we'll talk in a later episode. We were just talking about that one earlier, but yeah, that goes beyond slop, I think.
Yeah, it's a good example of slop.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I
for
guess
sure.
The extremeness is probably why it came to my mind first. The thing I wanted to say about that is it was really weird, because looking back on it, it really feels like those videos were the kind of thing that like an AI algorithm would put out now. But like we didn't really have like publicly available like Chat GPT bullshit, whatever, like in the year when those really took off. So I don't know, those came from like a beautiful little mind somewhere in Turkey or whatever.
Yeah, which is, I mean, I'd be very interested in talking to that person who is behind that shit. But like, yeah, that it's pretty sinister out there.
Yeah, I just want to talk to him. I just want to talk.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Don't mind that. But yeah, that's some sloppy content right there. But to bring it back a little bit, I brought this up because we were talking about the tiers of slop content in my mind, and there's that first tier where like, okay, it's obviously made by a bot. This wasn't made for human consumption. It's just like there to get a cheap click or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then there's like the second tier where like, yeah, people made it, but like nobody gives a shit. And I think as we go into our discussion today about this topic, this video that hbomb put out about plagiarism on YouTube. I want to treat this as like the third tier of slop, in my opinion, where it almost looks real. It can attract an audience of people who think they're like too good for slop, but this stuff is like, it's all plagiarized, it's all copied and pasted, it's all stitched together from like the efforts of real people trying to make something real that matters, and just put out there. It's cynical bullshit. It's there to make money. And if you ask me, I think it's like this internal rot on the creative ecosystem, and it just makes everything worse for everybody.
Yeah, so of course what we're talking about here is the Super Despair World podcast, which has been completely plagiarized from the works of I couldn't even think of somebody to steal.
Yeah, we're like my brother and me, except we killed one of the brothers and the other one transitioned, and also we're funny.
Oh man, I was recommended that podcast by somebody, and I
no hate to anybody who likes that show. I tried to get into it. It's very like, I don't know. Those guys are just like podcast making machines. They put out a lot of.
I was gonna say the same thing. I was recommended that by somebody whose tastes I really respect, and I listened to a few episodes, and I was just like, yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
They've perfected the art of putting out a good show about like fucking nothing at all.
I guess.
My exposure to the McElroy, however you say it, those brothers who put out those shows is I know a little bit about, I think it's called the Adventure Zone, one of their podcasts where they play tabletop games, or like they play D&D specifically. And there was like there was a lot of drama because they were not good at running that.
Yeah, so I could
that's
see
a topic for another day.
you feel a certain type of way about that as a TTRPG aficionado.
Yeah, I can't even riff on it. I just think D&D kind of sucks.
Yeah, sure.
Well, I don't want to go to hater mode on them because I haven't done research. I haven't listened to the show. I've just seen a lot of capital D discourse about it, and from what I can tell, it was not very good.
Well, I mean, I think fundamental as somebody who's a very tangential TTRPG player, I played 5e for a little while. I think a show that is like a D&D or any kind of tabletop campaign could be good, but you have to be like really on top of it to drive that forward. Otherwise, it's just people like mumbling and rolling dice and doing typical like DM bullshit. So yeah, I
for sure.
Yeah.
I could talk endlessly about D&D.
Yeah, let's not let's not get into that.
I mean, that game, don't get me wrong, they put out a lot of slop content of their own, especially in the past year or so. But today we're gonna focus on YouTube.
Yeah, we don't want to get Briar Maulding about 5e right now.
Yeah, no. So yeah, today we're talking about the video hbomb put out, and I wanted to just preface all of that with some definitions, because the person in question here is the latter half of the video is dedicated to this guy on YouTube. His name is James Somerton, and some people might know him. He's this, like, I guess notorious now, this video essayist. He does a lot of videos on like film and like queer people and just like media and like the history of just like queer people in media and in general. He's that sort of stuff. He does that sort of stuff. If you've ever heard of the term bread tube, which I guess we'll also talk about at another point, I guess he tried to bill himself as like the quintessential like bread tube guy, putting out like the definitive essay work on all this gay shit, for lack of a better word. And it was not good. The video was pretty ruthless on this guy.
That was I've never heard of this dude before I watched the H-Bomber video, but
I watched like one or two of his videos in passing, and I thought, I was like, okay, like I just got this weird kind of off sort of vibe. It was like, I don't know, I guess in retrospect it's easy to say that it didn't sound like he was speaking with a unique voice, which is what we'll get into now.
I have heard other people say that as well, so it's probably not completely unfounded. I generally am very weary of like media, not react. What's like media critic type of
analysis?
Content. Yeah, media analysis, media criticism, that type of thing. I think it's kind of boring. Like I like to watch things and either I like them and there's a takeaway from it, or it was just entertaining, or it was complete bullshit. I don't really need to sit and think about whatever movie or whatever TV show that I watched and like really try to like grind into it. Maybe my mind is just poisoned from having gone to film school with other film school people. I wasn't in the film program, by the way, but I was adjacent to them the whole time, and it's just like, man, shut up.
See, I'm kind of the opposite here, actually, because I think I fall into this mental trap that probably a lot of other people also fall into, where I'll watch a piece of media or something, or like I'll finish playing a game that I got really into or something. I'm like, God, that was so good. I kind of want to experience a little bit of that again. So I think sometimes I'll watch videos of like, this person reacts to music on a soundtrack that I really enjoyed, and it's like, ooh, I can like vicariously experience the joy of consuming that thing for the first time all over again through this other person.
Okay, that's an interesting take. I like that.
Yeah, or like, oh, I'm really obsessed with this game. I think this was the point of the story or whatever, but like, ooh, now I get to watch other people talk about it and maybe they have a completely different take on it that never would have crossed my mind. So for me, it's like another way to like enjoy all that stuff all over again. But like I said, this is a mental trap, I feel, because this is something a lot of people probably enjoy doing as well. And I think a lot of people who make capital C content on the internet are very aware of this. And there's like an entire cottage industry of just like talking about shit, but not really having anything like new or insightful or interesting to say about it. It's just like, it's like recap culture, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And that's kind of really a lot of what it comes down to. Is there's certain tiers of derivative culture where it's like, here's something, and then like here's an interesting and unique take on it, or it's just like, does anybody remember RoboCop? Let's talk about this. And like you play clips and it's just like, RoboCop was crazy. It's like, yeah, we don't really, that doesn't really add any.
Some of the worst offenders of this are like this thing explained videos where like they just explain the movie and like, oh, you can't have anything being ambiguous anymore. You need to like dissect every frame. You need to say, oh, this ending was clearly saying this so-and-so or whatever. Or like, I'm not really big into like anime and manga, YouTube, whatever, but sometimes I'll just like take a little peek into that side of things. And there are a bunch of videos where it's like, hey, want to check out this manga? Well, you don't have to fucking sit down and read it yourself, because I'm just going to put up all the panels on YouTube and just explain the story in like a shit ass like 20-minute video.
Yeah,
and
for
like,
sure.
God,
I've definitely seen that, but like I've watched just some random like Netflix video or something like that. And after I'm done, I'm like, that was interesting. Like, I want to see like the cast or the reception or something like just a little bit of context around it, right?
Yeah, like especially if it's the people who made it, you can get like some really fun insights or like behind the scenes, like stuff that you never would have considered while watching it.
Right.
The people who were directly involved.
For sure. And then this random movie that you type into Google, and the like, not the auto, the suggested search terms are always like blah 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 ending explained, and it's like, it was pretty apparent to me. I don't really need brought
to you by some like beardo called like Film Guy 42, and he has like a stupid ass little intro, and he's like, I'm the film guy, I talk about films, or
right. Or
this
it's some content mill slop blog that's just like, at the end everybody died, but what does it mean? It could mean that people die at the end of their life, and it's like, wow, dude, I couldn't have thought of that.
It's always the most surface level bullshit. It's like, these people, that when they were writing like English essays in high school, they probably were like C+ students or some shit. They just have the most like basic, like, this is not there for people who want to get something more out of the media. It's just people who want to like consume art solely through the lens of like YouTube slop, because they don't want to actually like pick up a fucking book or something.
Yeah, exactly. I like writing.
Yeah, and normally I think a lot of this stuff is kind of benign. Like, I think it's fucking stupid or whatever. But if somebody wants to make a YouTube channel where they just like talk about some like comic book they read, and they just recap the story for people like me who aren't really going to get into like comics or whatever, it's like, fine, whatever. I'll check out this like 15-minute video explaining this like weird like Batman book or whatever. Sometimes I try to cut down on this, but I think that's, it sucks. It's kind of annoying. I look down on it, but I don't think it's like the end of the world. But today, as we get into this, the thing about this James Somerton character is that the slop content he put out was kind of made like at a price, right? Like, he was trying to be like the video essay person who talked about like queer history and queer media and film on YouTube. And the price of that was like, he ripped off a lot of shit from like people who were actually putting the work in and doing the research, and who actually like gave a fuck about the things they were talking about.
Yeah, for sure. And and that's a really sinister part about it is once somebody gets to a certain point of having a platform, I think there's there's much less accountability for what they do, because according to the hbomberguy video, like there were accusations of plagiarism in a lot of the videos, and people were like, hey, this is plagiarized, and then there was a bunch of other shit in the video with different creators as well, and they were just, and then their fans were just like, source, actually kill yourself, fuck you, I don't see that. And it's like, that shit is really fucking weird, which is so like you can see, like when you get to a certain level of clout, you kind of just become beyond any level of self accountability whatsoever, which is very bad. We need to not have that going on.
Yeah, you're kind of beyond reproach. You can kind of like weather the storm of criticism until like a wave comes along that's big enough, like we've seen in the past couple days. At the time of recording, this fucking James Somerton guy has been trending on YouTube for like at least a couple days. I don't think it's like been a week yet, but everybody has been like tearing this guy open because like now we can see like how big of a problem this is. One part of the video that really stood out to me was hbomb took like the script of one of James's videos and he laid it out, he transcribed it into text across like however many pages, and he highlighted with different colors every like paragraph that was taken from somebody else's writing or like from some like blog or some like old magazine article that's like not even on the internet anymore, or whatever. Right. And it was really fucked because it was like fucking 80 or 90% of the video was just other people's words, just like slightly rearranged or like run through a thesaurus or something. And obviously, like we're talking about now, we can see like, oh yeah, that's obviously plagiarism. That's totally fucked. But the thing is, with people like James Somerton, the point I want to get to here is like there are people who don't even see this as like plagiarism because they're like, oh no, I'm not just copying these people. I'm just like compiling this stuff and like putting it out there in like one place. And I think that's just every bit as like filthy and sloppy as the fucking Spider-Man Elsa like AI generated like chat GPT bullshit.
Well, I mean, there's a ton of channels that are on or accounts that are on like TikTok and YouTube and shit. And like this is a little bit different because they're not stealing from like actual articles and shit like that, but like if you've ever been on YouTube and you see that there's accounts that just like take like Ask Reddit threads and put an AI voice reading it, and in the background it's like Subway Surfers or like Minecraft parkour gameplay in the background. It's just like and they have hundreds of thousands of likes and shares and all this type of shit, and it's just like
the Reddit videos, those are such a fucking plague on the platform for like I feel like they've kind of gone out of vogue a little bit, but there was a couple years where like it was just constantly everywhere. It was always in your face, and like God help you if you even click on one of those videos, because now there's going to be like 20 of them.
Oh yeah,
all are like fighting for your attention.
Exactly, and like on TikTok, like if you watch it for more than 5 seconds, just out of morbid hate watch and curiosity, you'll get sent those like, you know, every 5 swipes or whatever. But I mean, and that's like the lowest tier of fucking slop shit. I mean, I guess beyond AI, content mill, whatever. Well, actually, they're probably on the same level. But at the same time, there's also like real people who show their face and talk, and that's their content as well. It's just like reacting to this epic this epic Reddit thread, or like or the fucking Sniper Wolf TikTok react bullshit, and it's just like,
hey everybody, it's your boy Moist Critical here. We're making an 8-minute video of this like 10-second video of like a cop like falling down a slide or some shit.
Guys, he slid down the stairs like my penis in a butthole with poop on it. Everybody, he's very
Jesus fucking Christ, dude. Like, the people who watch that shit are more guilty than the person putting out the slop sometimes. I get more upset about their audience.
Maybe we can shift gears to that a little bit, because obviously as we watch this video, yeah, it fucking sucks that like people like James Somerton are going to put out this like cheap exploitative content for like easy attention and clout and like money. Like, this guy's making a fuck ton of money.
Yeah.
But I think there's an area that I think in H-Bomb's video where he kind of this is a bit of a blind spot, because he's talking mostly about the people who make this stuff. But today I want to talk a little bit about the people who consume this stuff, because I think if we want this shit to like be reduced, if we want it to like fade into obscurity, I think we all need to kind of like take a good hard look at like what are we watching on YouTube all the fucking time? What podcasts are we putting on for hours and end? Please stay subscribed to the show. We're one of the good ones.
It's gonna get better, I swear.
It can only go up from here. Okay, start at the bottom, and we're still at the bottom, but we're going up. Someday soon, perhaps. But yeah, I think people have kind of a responsibility for like consuming this stuff on themselves. I don't think we can completely just blame the creators of it, right?
No, I feel this way in a lot of ways, and I've said this. This is a very tangential analogy, but it's kind of the same thing as like, as much as I think it's fucking disgusting for employers or companies or whatever to take advantage of their workers, I almost feel more disdain for the workers who are just like, gotta do unpaid overtime again. What am I gonna do? That's life. It is the way it is. And it's just like, dude, stand up for yourself. It's not that hard. But it's a little bit different in the sense of just like, I see this tangentially differently with content creation in general. Is they're just like, yeah, you know, it's not that good, but like, you know, I just like I just watch it.
Yeah, and you know, I feel like looking back on my own history, I have to take some responsibility, because like I like to think, okay, I'm pretty quote unquote woke to this stuff nowadays. Like I can see slop content for what it is, but in the past, like, yeah, I'm absolutely guilty of watching some like very cheap sloppy content on YouTube for like hours on end. I'm not proud of it, but like in the past, I used to watch a lot of these videos about like, ooh, it's like an internet takedown of like, oh, this big YouTuber was like so big, but then they did a stupid thing, and now it's the downfall of so and so, and like, God, I hate that shit now. I don't know what was going on there.
Yeah, well, I think that's a thing too. Is I think as a consumer of content, you have a responsibility to cultivate the sphere of content that you consume, in the sense of you know, like when you're on TikTok, for example, the algorithm is very good, but it's very good to the point where like, even if you're fed this like garbage AI voice reading Reddit post with Subway Surfers in the background content, you can consciously say this content fucking sucks, but if you watch the entire thing and then look for part 2, even if you're like, this is fucking bullshit, but I want to read, like, they're gonna serve it to you, and you're also going to feed the metrics for this shit. So what I'm saying is, as consumers of this horde of content bullshit, we have a responsibility to like not look at it, actively avoid it, don't engage with it, just ignore it.
Just make a podcast about it.
Right.
That's the healthy thing.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that's also the onus that we've always had to be like, we're not doing React content because like because it's the same thing. Like you could just be like, we could react to shit and just be like, this is cringe the whole time, but we're like giving it attention. We're putting eyes on it.
If we wanted to, we could have gone full slop and just like spliced in audio from like hbomberguy's video and just like played clips of that and been like, whoa, that's so crazy, I didn't know that, or oh, I agree with that, or
yeah,
it's
right.
Like we're not adding any value to that. Like this podcast episode right here, this is not a replacement for going out and watching the video yourself. And likewise, I don't necessarily think you need to have watched the video to like get what we're talking about here.
Yeah, exactly.
We're just using it like a little springboard for today's discussion.
Exactly.
But if I was to like self introspect, like just do some reflection on my own consumption of sloppy content, I would think, okay, in the past there were a couple of those old like Ask Reddit thread videos on YouTube that I watched, and you know I did the bare minimum. I tried to stick to like the handful of them that were read aloud by a real fucking person and not fucking like Microsoft Sam or whatever bullshit they had at the time.
Right.
But if I think back, okay, like why was this appealing to me? And I think it's because, okay, a YouTube video, I can just put that on and like zone out, and it's like I can just consume it passively. Whereas like even if I was doing something as like fucking inane as like scrolling Reddit all day, like that's actually reading. I have to click on the thread. I have to go through all the replies. I have to like hide the ones that like, okay, hide this thread so I can keep scrolling or whatever. And that's a little bit of effort. It's a really fucking minimal level of effort, but I think, okay, yeah, maybe I have like my fucking ADHD addled brain. I struggle to focus on things. I have a lot of like attention related problems or whatever, but like, yeah, I do have to take some responsibility on me. That's like, yeah, I'm watching this video because I would rather just listen to somebody talk on a fucking YouTube vid rather than do like a minimal amount of reading myself. And I think, you know, that's like a character flaw. Like I gotta work on that. And like I've been working on that for years now. But you know, that temptation is always there. And I don't think the stuff is gonna get better until we all like collectively decide like, we're done with this and we want to go back to like enjoying real stuff.
Well, see, I think there's an analogy there as well, in the sense of like, when it comes to that, there's not really a lot of self-awareness. Not specifically, at least. There's a lot of people like, I should use social media less or something like that, which I think is kind of missing the point. It's not social media. It's not the internet. It's what you're viewing on there. It's the same sense of like, now it's very sensible to say like, hey, I should eat less candy and junk food. But you're not saying like, I should not eat food as much. It's just,
and we're not even saying you should never eat sweet food either.
Right. Exactly. But it's just like that shouldn't be the bulk of your diet.
Yeah, absolutely. And like obviously, I think if people have listened to every episode we've put out so far, they've probably got this impression that like you and I come on very like pessimistic or negative when it comes to technology and the internet in general. And, you know, maybe like at least for me, that's a fair assessment. I don't know about you, but
yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think well, okay. I was gonna make this point earlier because we're talking about slop content, and a lot like I am a boomer, so I've been around since before the internet was a big thing. But people think about it in this sense of like, social media is so bad because of like how they manipulated the news, and like and content is so bad because it's all slop and shit. And it's like, dude, slop has existed far before the internet. Reality TV and fucking Total Request Live on MTV was there far before Spotify and fucking YouTube and all this type of shit. Before BreadTube, alt-right bullshit content was on YouTube. It was on fucking AM radio. Rush Limbaugh was a thing before people were posting like misleading, untrue political narratives on Twitter and Facebook. There was Fox News and other shit. Like, it's always been there. It's always been there. It's just like it's become more democratized now. Not necessarily in a good way. There's probably more pushback to the bullshit now that media has been a little bit more democratized. So I'm not really a doomer in that sense. I think the reason people get more doomer about it is just because there's so much more now. It's not just controlled by like 3 multimedia conglomerates, because like shit has existed for quite a while. I don't know how it was in the 70s and shit. I assume it was the same, but yeah.
Yeah, no, this stuff has definitely always been with us because, you know, as they say, bad content is of the devil. All the people, all the marketers and advertisers and PR people, they are the devil's little helpers on earth, and he is our eternal enemy.
Yes.
But the thing is, while this stuff has always been around, the point is, like, I would say what's changed is it's like industrialized now, right?
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah.
We can put out more slop than we have ever seen before. And the point I was getting at earlier was, yeah, like personally, I do feel pretty like negative and like pessimistic when it comes to a lot of stuff about social media and technology in general nowadays. But that doesn't mean I think everything on the internet is fucking slop. Like I have a lot of disdain for like what's popular content on YouTube. I open up the separate like Google account we have to upload the podcast, and it's not subscribed to anything. It doesn't have any watch history.
God.
So I just get the raw YouTube front page, and it's like,
so depressing.
Which one of these 8 different Mr. Beast videos do you want to watch today? And I'm like, none of them.
Yeah, it's Mr. Beast, Sniper Wolf, and like CNN clips.
I also get a lot of those like family vlog YouTube channels where it's like, we just moved into our big house in the Hollywood Hills, like and subscribe so we can like put our baby on camera.
We got an episode in the works on that one. That's gonna be a fucking doozy. We're getting a guest on for that one. It's gonna be great, folks.
Yeah, it's the super despair world is a very big planet, and we're all stuck in it.
Yeah, but we try to we try to be hopeful at the end of the day. I think you know, you have to hate on something before you can love on something.
Yeah, it's always darkest before the dawn, if I can be a little pretentious, but I wanted to bring this back around a little bit because I'm reflecting on the kind of slop content that I've consumed in the past. And I want to think back on the type of slop content that I don't watch at all. I think it's dog shit. I've always thought it's dog shit, which hbomb talks a little bit about this in his video as like a prelude to the whole James Somerton thing, where it's like, okay, there's an entire cottage industry on YouTube of these, they call themselves the quote-unquote commentary community now, which one, please put a bullet in my head every time I have to say that, but like they're drama channels, they're drama YouTube channels. It's like TMZ for like dipshits in LA who are like big on Instagram or something.
Yeah,
I'm so fucking sick of these. I think they're a blight on the internet. Maybe you should step in before I like get us canceled and say something. Federal.
Yeah, if anybody ever starts something out like, sigh, I didn't want to address this, but it's going to be the most fucking cringe narrative on something that completely doesn't fucking matter that you'll ever.
My response.
My response to addressing the allegations.
These people are a blight, and as someone who puts out like good video essay content, this is what hbomb said. It was like, okay, every time he'll put out like a good, well-researched video essay on something, especially if it involves like taking down someone who's done something wrong, like the whole fucking Tommy Tallarico bullshit with his Minecraft oof noise video.
Oh yeah.
Like,
And just to say, for anybody who hasn't watched the Roblox_oof.mp3 hbomberguy video, it is top 5 best YouTube videos I've ever seen, if not the first. I can't say definitively that it's the first, but man, that is a fucking wild ride. That one is so good.
It is incredible. If you haven't watched it, you should go watch it as soon as you're done watching this video of ours right here.
Yeah. Watch this one to the end. Otherwise,
But yeah, as I was saying, H-Bomb was talking about, like, every time he'll put out a good, well-researched video, especially if it's kind of like a takedown, kind of like that video was. There's like a whole industry of people who will like splice up and cut that video into little pieces and regurgitate it. Because like every time somebody like fails on the internet or like does something bad, or like even like talking about objectively awful people, even people that should be in jail, sometimes it's like you have all these people making shit ass videos where they just repeat the same things over and over again, and it's like, ooh, the rise and fall of so and so, and it's like this is slop content. You do not need to spend multiple hours of your day watching like a 3-hour video about some beardo, like our good boy, like Film Dude 48 or whatever, and why he sucks. You know, there are better things to do with your life.
Yeah. You're talking about Sunny V2 then?
Oh, I wasn't talking about anybody in particular, but God, that guy is one of the worst too, especially because he has like kind of a British accent, right? And that's something that a lot of people like. That adds some value to a certain kind of listener. Like, ooh, he must be smart.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
You obviously haven't met a British person before, if you still believe in that. Just kidding. We love our British listeners over here.
Yeah, all 3 of them who haven't been like rounded up yet.
Exactly. We'll take care of you. You'll be saved.
Yeah, these people are just the worst. Like you look at video essayists like fucking James Somerton, and what they do is it's wrong for other reasons as well, because they'll what they do is they'll cut up like the hard work of people who are just like fucking poor queer people who are just trying to make a video just for the love of the game, because they wanna contribute something interesting to the world. But like with these drama channels, it's like, oh, they're just like, it's like I said, it's fucking TMZ for like irrelevant social influencers on the internet, and a lot of the info they get is just copied and pasted from, let's be honest, like fucking doxing forums about people who like don't matter, and it's just it's a blight on the platform. And at the end of the day, I really struggle with this, because I don't know who's really to blame more, because I don't know to what extent the YouTube algorithm is just giving people what they really want, or like to what level arbitrary decisions made at Google are just like putting content in front of people's eyes that they wouldn't normally seek out themselves. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing, is it's just it's cheap, easy, and relevant content. And the thing is, like, sometimes I watch these things and it's like, I don't even think the people who make videos about this shit give a fuck about any of this. It's just like, this is relevant now. This is my career to just make garbage. So like, I have to address this because the algorithm is pushing this random person's name right now. And it's fucking boring. Like it's it's fucking shit. And like, so that's the thing I was thinking about earlier as well, is like, you think about this, like, is it just the algorithm pushing whatever is popular to the top and everything else like this? And it's like, well, what is the solution to this? Well, one thing could be like, well, we need more curated platforms where we just don't allow just like slop to just come through here. But at the same time, we've had curated platforms before. Do you know what they're called? network TV stations and cable TV stations and newspapers and magazines and shit like that. Do you think they were free of slop? Absolutely fucking not. Like,
I feel like everybody, if you've ever read your town's local newspaper, there's probably like some shit ass like opinion section where real people supposedly write in letters to like a person that gives like cute, quirky little quips of like advice or whatever. And it's like, this sucks, dude. I don't think, like, is this real? I don't think it's real.
Yeah. Well, like any local, because like print media is completely fucking dead at this point. Like, but any boomer.
Yeah, thanks Zuckerberg.
Yeah. Any boomer that still gets the newspaper, it's like, it's just like AP shit. And then there's like one local writer, if there's anything going on in your city, depending on how big it is, probably fucking boring. They probably make like minimum wage to write these articles.
Up until a couple of years ago, you'd still get Dilbert comics, but well, that changed.
Yeah, I think those syndicates are still around. Not for long, but and then
no, the only place you can get your Dilbert content raw and uncensored now is like, I don't even know where that guy's like shit ass website or something.
Yeah, he's probably got a schizo website somewhere with like really insane shit. It's probably like a.
I don't know if we should talk about the Dilbert guy at some point, because a lot of people have already done very good.
Yeah, it's kind of been done to death, but yeah, what a weirdo. Maybe we can talk about him for a second when we do our deep dive into the Sinfest guy.
Oh, spoiler. Oh, I feel like we've spoiled so many like future episodes we're going to cover today. But, you know, today, contrary to what we're talking about, low effort, sloppy content, we decided this topic a little bit on a whim.
It's going to be a big one, though.
It's going to be big and painful.
It's going to be, yeah, that'll be a marathon.
For sure. But yeah, focusing now on like, okay, to what extent are the platforms to blame? And, you know, I definitely put quite a bit of blame on the platforms themselves. Like, just looking at the context of YouTube, a lot of what goes on in the YouTube algorithm is like it's just a black box. It's not really well known to us. As soon as people like really figure out how to exploit it, they'll probably change it because they don't want anybody making money too easily. And, you know, what we do here is we don't try to like chase the algorithm too well, and we're not talking about this today just because it's like big and relevant or whatever. I don't think we're going to get any engagement boost from this at all.
Yeah, probably not.
But one of the big public changes I remember a couple years ago, because it's relevant to me as somebody who's into art, is a couple years ago, YouTube completely fucked over independent animators on the platform, because a lot of people moved off of like Newgrounds and other like Flash based websites when like Flash died. Mm-hmm. And like people are still making animations to this day, but at some point YouTube changed their algorithm to focus on watch time significantly more than anything else. And for anybody who knows anything about animation, it's a lot of fucking work. It takes a long time just to make like even a short little animation of like a minute or two. That could be like weeks of work at a minimum. Mm-hmm. And when YouTube made this change, that was like, it was completely arbitrary, right? Because I think they cut down on, I think they prioritized watch time because they were trying to deal with like the original like React channels where they would just put up someone else's video and be like, whoa, that's crazy, bro, in the corner or something. Yeah. But yeah, that change, it was like, that was not a change that's like organic of like what people want to watch on YouTube, because even though this was before YouTube Shorts, these were short videos that people liked watching on YouTube. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that was an arbitrary change, and it completely fucked over a big group of people. So what's to say that there aren't a ton of other arbitrary changes we don't know about that's prioritized this sort of like shit, sloppy ass, like low effort content, like to the top of the algorithm.
Yeah. To that point, I do remember Zach Hadel from the Smiling Friends guy. He was I was listening to some sort of podcast or something that he was on. Fucking amazing animator, by the way. Just really, Smiling Friends, love it. And he was talking about shit that he used to do, and he was like, yeah, like these kind of like animations and stuff like that. Yeah, I used to be able to like work really hard on something, release it, and then like the revenue I could live off of until I made another thing. And then it was like, now it's just like you work really hard on something, release it, and you get like $30. So yeah, that's the thing, is like the whims of these like of these people behind the scenes in these platforms. Like I think they don't know what they're doing. I think there's a tendency for people to be like, YouTube, big scary company behind the scenes, they just really want shitty Reddit content to come to the front page. It's like, no, dude, they don't know what the fuck they're doing. Like they react to shit just like law enforcement organizations react to, like, there's a crime wave, so what do? I don't know, ban shooting people and then have more cops, and it's like, well, obviously that doesn't work, but it's the banality of evil, right? Because like the thing is, then they're not necessarily malevolent, although I would argue a lot of cops are very malevolent, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah.
But they're not explicitly evil. Like looking at YouTube, the thing is, they don't give a fuck. They only care about the number and the line, and they want the line to go up, and they want the number to get bigger.
Well, that's the thing. It's what's it? Oh, Hanlon's razor. I think it is where like you can't attribute to malice what can more easily be attributed to incompetence. And I think that's really what it is. They're just like, money, but also bad. So like, what do? Okay, make change, and then, but still money. And like they don't, like, they're completely incompetent in this sense. Like they see money, and then they're just like, well, there's a problem, but also money. So like, what?
It's purely cynical. They're never going to make a good change like purely out of the goodness of their hearts.
Sure,
because like I said, they're marketing and advertising people, and they don't have those. But like a good example of this is going back to the whole YouTube Kids thing. I hate to go here. It's gonna get a little dark, but there was a big problem on YouTube a couple years ago where, you know how whenever you record like a home video just like off your phone or something, and it saves the file as like IMG underscore and a bunch of numbers or whatever. Yeah, so what people realized was like, oh, if you look up on YouTube IMG underscore and a bunch of numbers or whatever, you're gonna get a bunch of people's like weird shitty little home videos, and a lot of those are like videos of like parents filming their kids and stuff. And people were getting really fucking creepy in the comments of like, oh, these like home movies of just like kids playing in their backyard or whatever. And like, you can imagine why YouTube had to crack down on that. But did they make that change because, oh, YouTube like gives a fuck about the safety of kids or whatever? No, they fucking don't. They just don't want the biggest website in the world to be known as like a haven for pedophiles, which, you know what, it kind of was in that era. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know what. Is there anything we can do about this? Like,
well, I mean, we look at the way the internet is now, and I guess there's one route, which is like the whole return to tradition thing, which we like to riff on. But like, the internet was different in the past. Like, there was obviously always sloppy content, but I think in the past, when everybody was confined to these like smaller ecosystems, these little websites, these little like internet forums or whatever, there was less of a monetary incentive to like really pump out shit on like an industrial scale. And I think that there's probably something to be said about cultivating smaller spaces that aren't just like trying to chase the biggest fucking numbers possible. Because like, yeah, it would be cool if like 2 million people listened to this podcast. And, you know, I'm not going to say no. I'm not going to say like, oh, we're going to shut down the show if it ever got that big, like God willing or whatever.
Right.
But, you know, like I can't manage an audience of 2 million people very closely. You know, those are people that I would be like very detached to.
Yeah, exactly. And see, I think that's definitely on the horizon as far as social media, in the sense of like Twitter, Instagram, that type of shit. Where we get to a bit of a problem is things like YouTube and Twitch, just in the sense that hosting a lot of RTMP streams in the sense of Twitch, like streaming video feeds and
video files are fucking big.
Yeah, and that's
what you're saying.
Yeah, and on YouTube as well. Like, you need a shit ton of servers and a shit ton of bandwidth to feed that type of thing to a lot of people. So it's nice to have these services that allow this, but it's also like, yeah, we're also. But I mean the same could be said for like a radio station or a TV station back in the day. Like you can't just start you can't just start an FM radio station or like a TV broadcast. Like, it takes a lot of shit.
I mean, we could easily do our own like internet radio thing, although we would probably just get like instantly shut down because we don't have a license to play other people's music.
Right. Well, so that's the thing, is like DMCA strikes are a little bit harder to serve when it's just some random bullshit website somewhere out there. I mean, it's still valid, like it's still against the law, but it's way easier to get struck when you're on YouTube or Twitch or something like that, where they have like a constant roving content identification system that's gonna fuck your shit up if you play like 2 seconds of a Drake song.
Yeah, absolutely. And never mind like abuses of the content copyright strike system, where it's
right.
like, oh, some bad faith actor can upload like a sound effect of like the wind blowing or something, and now they can just like strike any video that has like loud wind noises or some shit.
Exactly. And that's the other thing too, and that's what really sucks about these platforms, especially YouTube. And I see guys like hbomber or a bunch of other really awesome high effort content creators that I watch, and I see that they make 3-hour videos about a really interesting topic, and it's just really well done. Obviously, a ton of effort is put into this. Completely amazing, fantastic. And I always think sometimes when they put this up, and I'm just like, man, the fucking balls on you to spend all this time making this thing and putting it in the hands of fucking YouTube, where they could, like, you could have like 0.8 seconds of a copyrighted song, or not even, and they will demonetize and delist and completely fuck this video that you spent a fucking year making, just because of some automated algorithm thing. And yeah, you can make an appeal. They'll sort it out in 3 months. And at that time, it'll just be completely off the front page, and nobody will ever see it. And that shit,
for sure.
That shit is just like, that's so bad.
It's really rough. I think one of the big things that unites people, those sort of content creators, is like the price they pay for making good high effort stuff is like, yeah, they can put out like a single digit number of videos per year, as opposed to, say, another person that was talked about briefly in the H-bomb video is this YouTuber who everyone knows very well by now, called Illuminati. I'm not going to get deeply into all the stuff she's done, but I saw this clip of her talking, and I want to say it was probably H-bomb's video or someone else. I watched too many videos on this dumb shit this week. But there's this clip where Illuminati was talking. She's like, yeah, every video I put out is like 4,000 plus words or something, and I need to put out 3 or more videos a week or something. I'm like, no, you don't. That's an arbitrary decision you did. Like, your content sucks because you want to churn out so much of it.
Well, see, that's a thing, and I think there is a I mean, nobody really knows the algorithm, but I think there are a lot of people that claim that it's a quantity over quality thing in the sense of like if you put 10-minute videos out a month, you'll get boosted more than putting 1 hour-long video out a month. I don't know if that's true. If that is, YouTube needs to not do. And that's a thing. Like, if you want to boost shorts and fucking TikTok bullshit and whatever stuff like that, if you want to boost that for slop, I don't give a shit because I don't watch any of that anyway. But YouTube is in a very unique spot that they're really the only person or the only entity that feeds long form content to people. I mean, there's stuff like Vimeo and stuff like that, but nobody actually like goes on Vimeo and search and like
the big alternative I've seen is like I don't know if HBomb is on there, but I know a lot of these like progressive educational like quote unquote breadtube type channels, they moved over to Nebula, which is like their own streaming service, which I think is probably better. I don't know, I'm not subscribed to it. I don't watch any of that.
Yeah,
but
I think I may have been on there for a minute, and it was cool.
I subscribed to it for like, I forget who I was watching, there was some YouTuber that was like, they made their pitch about Nebula, and I was like, okay, fine, I'll throw them the like $5 or whatever it takes to subscribe. And I guess because of like some legal bullshit, because I live in Canada and a lot of them are based in the US, it was like, oh, none of the videos I was allowed to watch on Nebula were from like the YouTubers who like interested me in the first place. So I just
Exactly. And you try to do some like the right thing, and it's just like, well, never mind, I'll go back to fucking YouTube. Like, yeah,
the universe just punishes the good. I don't know what else to say.
truly, but like, I don't know, like if YouTube found a way to just like focus on and boost like high effort long form content, that would be pretty cool. I think they have. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I think they have the resources to do that. I think they could do it. I know it's a small indie tech company. They're still coming up in the world, but yeah.
I mean, yeah, Google has more money than God because, as we've established, they are of the devil. So they could do it if they wanted to. They just don't want to. Especially because, like, it was a couple of years ago where I think their slogan used to be "Don't be evil" or something.
Yeah.
And they just, it was like, never mind.
Yeah, they changed it to something else. I forget what it was, but
I don't remember what the new slogan is, but I remember it sucks. So just take our word for that.
Yeah, it was like that, but just like not particularly self-incriminating. But on that note, I one of the things that's annoyed me and burnt me out on platforms and content creation shit in general is like all of these shitty platforms, or a lot of them at least, have like, instead of staying in their own lane of like, cool, TikTok, short form bullshit, Instagram, pictures and text, YouTube, long form shit, they're trying to like do everything and be the everything app. Guys, the days of AOL are over. It didn't work for them. It's not going to work for you. There's not going to be any fucking web portals that everybody goes to and does everything with. Stick to one thing, do it right, and stop doing other shit. Like, find something else to do with your life.
Well, I feel like this might just be like an innate feature of the economy, right? Because I've seen this in a completely different way. In that, have you ever gone to like fast food places nowadays and realize like, oh, they're all kind of like doing the same thing?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
McDonald's used to be like a burger and fries diner kind of place, but now it's like, oh, now they want to be like a cafe, like Starbucks and shit.
Right.
Going really hard on the McCafe bullshit. Or I go to a Subway and I'm like, ooh, I'm gonna get a sandwich or something. But now they're doing these like fucking like wraps or like panini bullshit that I used to get at Starbucks or whatever. So I guess all fast food places just want to be Starbucks now.
Right. And I don't want to get too into like an annoying communist, like capitalism bad bro sense, but like it really is kind of a reflection of like corporate. The idea of like capitalist entities is like, well, you have to keep growing, right? Like you have to grow infinitely, and it's just like McDonald's did what the fuck they did really well, which is why we all know what McDonald's is and have all eaten there. Probably everybody who's listening to this has had McDonald's at least once, probably like last week or maybe today. But like,
no one is pure. But we are all unclean.
But that's the thing. That's the thing. Like, just making billions of dollars a year isn't enough. It's just like, well, what now? And just like, well, what if we did this and had a cafe? And it's just like, dude, stop. Just stop.
This is kind of a dark thought, but just in the same way that basically everyone has gone to a McDonald's at some point in their life. I think everyone has like consumed slop content as well. And I feel awful for like kids and toddlers and shit growing up now, because it's like they don't know any fucking better. You give this little kid an iPad, they're gonna get sucked down the YouTube rabbit hole of like weird Spider-Man, Elsa. We need to preserve the white race bullshit on the algorithm. You know what I'm saying?
That's an interesting point, because like I don't really know what like TV was like when my parents were like teenagers in like the late 60s, early 70s. Wait, actually no, that's not right. Yeah, they were like teenagers in the maybe early 70s. I don't know. I can't do math right now, but like I'm sure it was not great cultivated content or whatever, but like it was definitely different than the TV they sat me and my sister in front of in the 90s. And like we were watching fucking bullshit. Like we watched like cool cartoons on like Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or something, but also like shitty like reality shows on MTV or whatever. But like also like people of my generation, like they don't really know, like when they turn on YouTube and put an iPad in their kids' hands, they don't really know the extent of like what kind of like absolute lowbrow bullshit they're putting in front of their kid. I don't think they really know that.
Yeah, it's not like when I was a kid, right? And I could watch like good wholesome content, like when Bugs Bunny dresses up as like the sexy flight attendant with the high heels. Like that didn't have any effect on me. And like I just ended up as like a perfectly normal, healthy, like trans weirdo making a podcast.
Yeah.
And like that's all well and good, but like who knows what the fuck is going to happen to all these kids watching like Spider-Man, Elsa, Skibbity Toilet, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. If you think cross-dressing Bugs Bunny is transing our youth, like Briar, what is Skibbity Toilet? What's Skibbity Toilet like injection poop fetish Elsa doing to our young generation now?
It's gonna lead to an entire generation of people who like can't get it up unless somebody puts a TV over their head.
Truly, and I always wonder like how fetishes are born. Sometimes it's very obvious.
A lot of people don't like to say this because it makes them uncomfortable, but like if we're honest, a lot of kinks and fetishes they come up when you're a little kid and you get some weird wires crossed in your brain and you're like, ooh, why do I feel a strange way about that? And that's just like, okay, that's what you need to like feel aroused now for the rest of your life. Go on.
Yeah, which is pretty wild. Like, yeah, I don't know. Like a lot of kinks are harmless, so it's fine. But some of them are like, yeah, if there's a way to like make people not be into that, it might be better for them.
I'm not going to shame anybody for any.
We are not
kinks,
kink shaming here. We all have
as
kinks.
as long as everybody's like consenting and it's not like you're making yourself like ill or like sick or something, like
yeah,
go on ahead. But I say this full of love and without any judgment at all. There there are a handful of kinks, which I'm not going to name, where if I learn somebody's into that, I'm like, something happened to you. I'm sorry.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
And look, like I said, no judgment. Something happened to a lot of us. Like I said, with me and watching Bugs Bunny put on the high heels.
Yeah.
No, that's a joke, but
how
how did we even get on this tangent?
I have no idea how we've gotten here.
I think, okay, I'll take us back to this point I wanted to make about YouTube broadly, which is, I think, maybe this goes beyond YouTube. This is, in my opinion, one of the big problems with the internet nowadays is, like, you're meant to consume it without end, right? Like, when you log on to check out a website or something, they don't want you to log off. They want you to keep scrolling and stay there for as long as possible. And I think this is antithetical to making good works of art. Like, any good piece of literature or a good film or like a fun like radio play or some other like archaic thing, who knows, like a good video game, these things have to fucking end at some point. Okay, good games have endings. They don't do the stupid, like, it's like, oh god, nowadays there are so many of these fucking forever games where it's like, oh, you log in, time to check out the new patch. It's like, god, it's like Fortnite. Okay, Fortnite is probably the biggest offender of this, even though I say this as somebody who has put quite a few hours into Fortnite
I fuck
myself.
with Fortnite too. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, but that Fortnite is content, the game. But
yes.
This is the problem that I think we need to like tackle head on with how we deal with this stuff, because at some point the content has to end. At some point you need to be like, okay, I've watched enough videos for the day. I'm gonna go do something fucking else right now, right?
Yeah.
But they don't want you to do that. This stuff is designed to be produced in such bulk quantities because you're not supposed to reach the end of it. You're supposed to just keep eating up more and more of it, and that's the problem here.
Yeah, I think part of that is it's the problem with the model of like ad revenue driven shit in the sense that it's just like eyeballs on it. It's not like they don't care if there's like constant engagement, if there's like an actual, if people like really engage with something, it doesn't matter. It's just eyeballs on it.
I get pissed off if I have to watch two 15-second adverts back to back.
Yeah.
But then if you've ever turned on a TV, like commercials, there were like 2 or 3 fucking minutes between the stuff you actually wanted to see. So I don't know, maybe it's slightly better now, but the point is, people would have you watching ads like 24/7 if they could get away with it.
Yeah, 100%. I watched a fucking NFL game last week, and it was just like,
oh, that's the worst.
Holy shit! It's not just fucking constant ads. It's like the ads are also, it's car insurance and car commercials and like Chili's. It's just like we're talking about slop content, and these are like slop commercials on top of it. I don't actually have like a fundamental hatred against advertisement. It's just the way that it's expressed, it just makes me want, like, whoever made this shit, I want to fucking kill you in Fortnite.
Yeah, I don't know. I do have a fundamental hate of it. I think like people who like just like bait engagement just to like cynically like raise their numbers, they're the fucking worst. Comment below if you hate that shit too.
Yeah, like and subscribe, share with another with another engagement bait person.
Invest in Despair Coin Super Edition today.
Yeah, get the Briar NFT.
Oh god, don't make me draw those. I remember in the first week or so when I first got my iPad and I was just dicking around in Procreate, I drew like a shitty NFT as a joke, and I felt like I had to like wash my hands afterwards.
Oh, was it an ape?
I think it was an ape. It might have been.
We truly live in a society, from what I understand. But the thing is like, as much as we've kind of like bitched and been doomer on this whole topic, as always, we can bring it back to to a more positive note, because I think there are, okay, more accurately, I think we have the power as creators and consumers to completely get around the slop problem. In it's as simple, I mean, fundamentally as simple, but also complicated as just number one, don't consume slop. And I'm not saying, like, I'll be clear on this. I'm not saying don't, like, consume slop and then be like, I'm watching slop. I shouldn't do that. Like, actively stop yourself from watching slop, because I've been doing this for like the past year, and not only do I think I'm doing a service to these platforms as to not show engagement metrics on this bullshit, but I am making my fucking brain heal from just years of mindlessly consuming fucking garbage. And then also,
yeah, I would go as far as to say it's like a type of consumer trauma that we all collectively have to try to heal from. Because, like, years ago, like, we didn't know better when all this stuff was new, but I think we've reached kind of like the absolute point. I think, at least for now, this seems to be as bad as things are gonna get. Like, maybe they'll get worse, but I think, as we've said before, people are getting kind of tired of this shit. And we can't just be mad at the people making it or the platforms hosting it. We have to take some responsibility to stop watching the shit ourselves.
No, I completely agree. I completely agree, because, like, what onus is there on these people to stop making trash if people are there to consume it? Because we all live in a fucking grind set where, like, you have to, like, you have to make money somehow. So, like, if somebody sees a market for shit, they're gonna like exploit that market for shit, because we like people have to survive somehow. But
I think a lot about the analogy of, like, when you're watching shit, people talk about this as like a media diet, right? Because it's stuff that you're consuming.
Right,
like, maybe
right.
It's not like food literally, but it is like, okay, you're watching it, it's going into your head, it's going to have some effect on you. Like, nobody, as we like to say, as our good friend Garfield says, nobody is immune to propaganda. And,
famous Garfield quote.
Slop content, like, it's kind of a propaganda. People make it because they want you to, like, think something, even if the thought they want you to have is as base as, like, I should watch more of this stupid bullshit.
Yeah, true.
So, like, it's exploitative. So just, like, don't let them fucking exploit you. Like, demand better of the people making stuff for you to watch on the internet.
Yeah, in 100%. And then on the other end of the spectrum, if you have a desire to create content, I don't even like using that term, create content. If you want to create something, if you want to make videos, music, something cool, fuck the whole content term. It's like it like cheapens everything to me when
I
when
feel
I'm
guilty because it's like, content has become such, like, a common part of our just, like, vocabulary. Right?
Exactly.
I say it all the time without even saying it.
Exactly.
And I don't mean to, but it's the word for this stuff.
Right. Exactly. And it's like, maybe we should start with, like, not using that term. Maybe we should turn it into a pejorative. Content is the road to slop. Slop's at the bottom.
I don't think
content is in the middle, and then, like, I don't know, it's at the top. Art, things you create, your art, your video. Like, actually call it by its name.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think pejorative is enough. I think we need to turn it into a slur.
True.
Oh, that's fucking content with a hard T.
Yeah, but I mean, if you like have the desire to make something, you know, I do understand the because it's fucking hard out there, man. It's hard for a lot of people, you know, just making a living, just surviving in general, not even like in the creative scene. It's just like it is very enticing to see a possibility of just like, man, I could be a YouTuber and all I have to do is like plagiarize a bunch of people's videos and like put some like AI animations over it and like put it on TikTok.
I could actually get something out of my shit ass English literature.
Exactly, right. Or
Much
not
love to all the English
not
majors
even.
out there.
Yeah, I have a useless degree too, guys. It's okay. It's okay. But like But like it is enticing, and I'm not gonna lie, like that kind of grift mindset has crossed my mind a lot in the past. Not so much now. I think I've like truly just like blown it out in my brain now. My brain's just completely disintegrated by.
Well, that's the thing, because like people like you and I, we're too authentic to like really properly do the whole like content mill thing. Like I've thought about, okay, what are some easy like bullshit ways I could like just make a living doing silly videos on YouTube before, and it's like, oh, I could do this, but I'd feel really fucking dirty if I did, which is I don't know, that's at least for me, that's one of the guiding principles of this show. Like we'll try to keep things as real and authentic as possible, even though I'm sure it's going to cost us financially, right? Like we're not making any money off of this at the time of recording. And I'm sure even if we do make money off of this show in the future, like we could probably make more if we put out a shittier product, but you know, that's the price we pay.
Yeah, exactly. So anyways, like and subscribe, use our code for World of Tanks. It's
yeah, buy a shitty mattress off of us.
Yeah, casper.com/analsex69 is our code on Casper. I think that company's gone now. I think
I've never heard of
I think
Casper in my life.
I think their business plan of like having like like YouTubers sell their mattresses didn't pan out for them.
Well, I'm sure there were at least a couple channels that made decent money off
Yeah, I
sponsorships.
mean, sure. I'm sure it was all like VC money, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that stuff it's very come and go.
Yeah, but
yeah, I think if we want to like wrap this back around to somewhere positive, I kind of wanted to talk about the real thing I wanted to get into today is just like there's a real struggle, you know, with just trying to be a creative person on the internet and just put out like stuff that people like and stuff that you feel good about making, because like there's every incentive not to, and it's really hard to work against that.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think we talked about this in the last pod or the one before that, where it's just like, it's hard to be an authentically creative person in this current, like, internet sphere of things, just in the sense that, like, you want to like anytime you go to sit down, I'm sure in your case, Briar, like when you sit down to draw something, or like when I pick up a guitar or like bust open my DAW and just like jot down some chords or something like that, it's just like you're enjoying yourself in a sense, but always in one part of your mind, or the other one is just like, what can I like do with this content? Why, like, could this be a, like, would people like what's trending? Like, what can I
mean, I've thought about this often. Like when I draw like an original character, like some random little like stupid little elf girl that I came up with for like a D&D campaign, I'm like, oh, this is fun, but like who gives a shit, right? Whereas the thing is, like, if you want to make it big as an artist, the easy path to that is do fan art of whatever is like popular and trending at the time. And I don't know what's popular right at the moment, but like a lot of the times I don't care about the popular thing, you know?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
It's not easy.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't really care about the popular thing either. It's just like, well, I mean, I guess my thing with my music for a while has always been like trying to have like some, and I think this is actually like before I even knew it, like creator brain rot, in the sense of like I have very varied like tastes and things that I like to do in that creative sphere, and I've always kind of struggled as a musician to have like a cohesive voice, if that makes sense. We're like,
No, I get it. Like, there are a lot of platforms that will like actively punish you for doing that. Like, let's say you have a YouTube channel and you're mostly known for doing, say, like long form video essays or something, but you want to branch out and do some like shorter content stuff, like some like 5, 10, like 15-minute videos you can put out more regularly between those.
Right.
YouTube fucking hates that because, oh, that's a different watch time. This is different than the stuff you usually put out. This is inconsistent. We're going to show it to less people.
Exactly.
Which is, that's the reason why a lot of people have like a second channel for like a different format.
Right. And it's like, why should I have a fucking second channel for that? I don't want more fucking social media accounts to manage. And I've definitely
divide my audience. I'm going to divide my audience of 20 people across like 2 or 3 different accounts.
Right. And I've seen like music creators, like some of them that are more like tech education type based, and then they make like they make their own original music, and they're like, yeah, this gets like 6 views because YouTube doesn't like when your content is different. But I mean, even in a less content brained context, like you know, when I lived in Korea and I was a solo musician, I played like I played a certain type of music which I couldn't even like, which people liked, but I couldn't even really like narrow it down. I guess it was like Brazilian influenced, like acoustic something, jazz-ish music or something, and then like people would be like, what kind of music do you do? And I was like, music, like something.
The problem is you make a cool, unique, creative thing, but you don't have a brand for it. You don't have like a search term you can plug in. Right.
Exactly. And it's like, if I was just like, I make lo-fi beats for you to do homework too, people be like, oh, fucking love that.
Yeah, I don't know much about music. It's out of my wheelhouse, but there are a few music YouTube channels I've looked into, and all the ones that pop off really hard nowadays aren't like, oh, explaining some big technical thing about music that like I as a layperson would not understand. It's some clickbaity ass video where it's like, sound engineer reacts to Genshin Impact soundtrack. It's like, fuck, I hate this dude.
Yeah, there are actually, okay, so I don't want to, just to preface this, I don't want to hate on that particular, because there's one dude that I really like. I'm just gonna say his name, Charles Cornell. Sorry, Chris Cornell is that's
different.
That's a different guy. That's Charles Cornell. And he's like a jazz pianist, and he does YouTube videos where he's like, the fucking Cowboy Bebop soundtrack is fucking awesome. But this dude, like, he's not pretentious. He doesn't do like soy face YouTube thumbnails, and he's very knowledgeable, but he's also not like obnoxious and corny. He doesn't tell you to smash the like and subscribe button.
I'm not saying
I wasn't saying you were, but I would just wanted to preface this before I go hater mode.
Okay, go ahead.
But I've also And this is I think this is just because like my old Twitch channel, which I'll revive someday. I used to do like music production on there, and it was mostly like I was just hanging out while I did that, and then people would pop in and shit like that. But I did, I was just kind of curious as to what people who did what I did were doing, and it's just like, holy fucking shit. If you get into like the EDM producer, especially streamer corner of YouTube, you will see the most cringe shit you've ever seen before. And it's just like, yeah, it's just like soy facing YouTube thumbnails, and it's like, producer did what? Epic. And it's just like it's just like a dude like dragging splice samples into something, and like just fucking ripping vapes the whole I can't even like really articulate why I hate this so much.
I see a lot of this slop too when I'm going through like YouTube shorts or something, like when my resistance to this stuff breaks down and I give in and I gaze into the abyss.
Yeah.
But I'll be watching like these like art channels on YouTube who are like drawing an anime girl. Oh, look, it's so easy. And like they just splice like 5 to 10 seconds of like a thing that probably took a couple hours, and it's like you were underselling to people how much effort went into this, and you were showing them a bad way to do it.
Yeah.
Because this is easier, simpler content.
Yeah.
And I don't like it.
Yeah, the one I was talking. This is too tangential for the scope of this one. This is more like. Well, I guess maybe
this is the tail end of the show. Just like let loose.
Well. I think we should both at some point have like our own our own like autism special interest. Is that what they call it? Special interest?
Special interest hyperfixation.
Yes,
whatever.
we should.
Maybe there's a difference between those terms.
We should both have our own separate special interest hyperfixation episode where we just like bore the audience and teach each other like things that just make us irrationally angry for no reason.
I'm gonna do like the story of Final Fantasy XIV explained, but it's like 600 hours of JRPG, so that's gonna be like an 8-hour episode.
I mean, I would be on board with that, but mine would be about EDM producers and how they're not actually musicians.
Ooh, that's a spicy.
I have all right. That maybe I shouldn't have said that. If you're an EDM producer, there's a lot of nuance to what I just said. Don't at me. Find me in the. I'll tell. We'll explain it later.
Don't at Dave on social media. Send your complaints to farstriderfm@superdespairworld.com by email.
farstriderfm@gmail.com. That's my actual email address. I'll drop that.
No, we do have a website, but at the time of recording, there's nothing on it. But we will have a glorious website.
We will eventually. But yeah, I mean, I guess the takeaway to this is there's so many different versions of slop that express themselves in so many different ways. And everybody, no matter who you are or how bad your taste is or how good your taste is, has been touched in some type of negative way by the existence of slop. Conversely, as people who don't like slop, make it your job to, whenever you identify slop in the wild, we should make like a poster like, did you see slop? Step 1, identify that you saw slop.
Like some 1950s ass like public service announcement.
Number 2, call the anti-slop hotline. Number 3, turn your phone off immediately and call an adult. Number 4.
Don't see what Sloppy Steve sees.
Yeah, we get a mascot in there. Sloppy Steve saw a YouTube React content video.
Don't be like Content Connie or something like
Content Connie said, "That's epic," and then watched the entire thing.
that. God damn it. Yeah, there are two things I kind of want to hit on before we wrap up, and like this will probably be one of our longer episodes. Just looking at the time so far, but these are important. I want to get into it. Anti-slop action is like the core message of this show, if nothing else. And the first point is I want people to be very careful, because the reason we talked about the H-bomb video in particular is because the person he was talking about, James Somerton or whatever, he sold himself as like somebody doing like a good righteous thing, you know, like, oh, he's educating people on the history of like queerness in media and film and just like history in general. And like, yeah, that's a good thing. We would want to support somebody like that. But I think you got to be careful, and you got to really put everything you watch under a fine lens, because it's very possible that, yeah, there are content creators you like, or maybe like live streamers or essay people, or like Twitter talking heads or whatever, and you want to support them because like, okay, they share your politics, they seem like a good person, you want to support what they're doing, but like, it's slop content. If you spend a lot of your day watching somebody like react to another video, or do like an analysis or like a response to somebody else, and it's like, you don't need to do this. Watch something original. Go crack open a book. Go listen to like a new music album you haven't heard before. Go do something else. Go like check out something that isn't derivative or like a reaction to somebody else's stuff. Like, I promise you're gonna feel better for it.
No, 100%. And I think you should resist the parasocial relationship that you have with these quote unquote content creators. That they're not your friend. They're not your big brother. They're not your mommy, your daddy, anything like that.
They're not like us. They don't actually love you.
Yeah. Besides us, of course. Besides us. But like,
you're all my little pog champs.
But like, stop. That's actually like a very much broader topic. Is just like, don't be a fan. Like the creation, but not the creator. If somebody makes something good, reward them for that. They deserve, like, hbomberguy made a fucking fantastic video. Dude made fantastic videos in the past, but like, I'm not just gonna like give this dude like a bag of social credits that he can like cash in to just make shit in the future, and I'll just be on board because like I liked him before, and I think that's really the weird thing with like a lot of these creators, that people just continue to dick ride even though they've like completely fallen off and haven't done shit other than like drama react YouTube shit in ages. Like I really think that's like how people who like, I don't know, like watch like Hassan Piker or fucking Moist Critical or something like that. Like, do you really like what this person's doing now? Like, how?
Live Hassan reaction, and it's just like an empty chair.
Like, I really can't, like, whether you liked the shit they did before, that's a whole nother issue. But do you like? I really have a hard time thinking that somebody just looks at what they're doing now and just like, wow, this is really awesome. Other than just like, oh, follower number big, so popular good. Now I must watch because I want to keep up with the other fucking middle schoolers. But yeah, that's really what I was talking about with that one, is just like,
yeah, I was hesitant to name specific examples, but you know, I talked about like people who share your politics before, so like let's shit on like Hassan Piker for a moment, because I know a lot of people are gonna want to support him because like, oh, he's the biggest like left-leaning socialist whatever content live streamer dude on Twitch or something, and they'll be like, oh, that's important. I should get behind that. I want to support somebody who like sees that trans people are valid and that like we should like abolish like commodities and that there's nothing going on in the camps in China or whatever. I don't know what Hassan fans are like nowadays. Probably very shitty.
I don't know. I don't know.
But you know it's like
it's just
you're gonna don't do our boy Glub shitty like that.
Glub Shido is a top tier 3 gifter in there.
Yeah. Glub Shido is a real one, okay? We love Glub Shido in this
just
house.
kidding, Glub.
Yeah, but the point is, like, if you see somebody who's like, my job is to stream 14 hours a day, like, you trust me, you as a viewer have something better you could be doing with those 14 hours. You don't need to watch good stuff on YouTube filtered through the lens of some like dude bro in the Hollywood Hills going, whoa, that's crazy, man. You know, like this shit is like, I'm gonna be real with you. This is Joe Rogan for liberals, okay? That's what it is.
Yeah,
and we can all laugh at the fucking monkey man being like, whoa, Jamie, pull that up, and it's like, just move on, okay? There's better stuff out there.
I have much more respect for Joe Rogan fans, honestly, because at least that's just like compressed into a 1 or 2 hour segment. But like, if you, I'll just say this straight up: if you like tune in to a Hassan Piker stream and just keep it up for like 9 hours or whatever the fuck his timeline is, and you just like, and that's your day, like, fucking DM me, dude, like, let's talk. Like, that's fucking sad. Like,
we need to wean you off of that.
Yeah,
we need to like
literally anything else. Like that is fucked up, dude. Like
you're smoking a pack a day. You need to go to something lighter. Like, I don't know, maybe stop watching Hassan and maybe tune into like fucking Gura, the VTuber, or whatever.
Dude, honestly, like, yeah.
Just watch her vacuum stand for like 20 minutes and leave.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all you need in your life.
Sure, like I don't quite get that. There's really nothing there. Like, what is that doing for you? Like, like nothing. And also what I was gonna say is like, this dude, like a lot of these like content creators that you dick ride if you're on that sphere of fucking Twitch or YouTube or whatever, they not only do not give a fuck about you, they actively have a disdain for you. They probably low-key hate you.
Well, that's the thing about the perverse incentives that go into this type of content creation, right? Because nobody's having fun on either end of the creator-consumer relationship, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the thing too, is like, if you're a slop creator, I think every slop creator, whether you're just like a full grifter or just somebody with like absolute dog shit tastes, you know that you're making slop. Like, nobody is making slop and just saying like, I'm an artiste, except for like the most deranged person, which you probably don't really have an audience.
I don't know. I watched some clips of James Somerton, and nobody with like a fucking shit ass like turtleneck sweater does not think of themselves as some like really important artiste.
True. But I'm talking
some of
about
them
like
buy their own hype.
And like, obviously that dude is fucking subhuman. But like, I'm talking about like slop. I'm talking about like AI voice Reddit post fucking bullshit. Like, they know this is not like
photoshopping my wife's face onto AI Superwoman so I can show how hot she is to the boys at the round table or whatever.
But like, so the point is, like, if that's what you make, how do you feel about your audience who like actively is like in your shit and like giving you money and like giving you attention, shit like that, you have to hate your audience. It's like it's like a projection of self-loathing. Like, they have to hate you because they know they suck.
If you have any respect for them, if you see them as people at all, eventually you're going to feel fucking awful about what you're doing and you're going to stop.
Well, but money, right? Like,
that's why I'm saying if you're going to stay in it for the money, I don't think you see your audience as people.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Like, if you have respect for them, but like, yeah, but they don't have respect for themselves, which is why they have a career of making garbage. It's no different than like a spammer or a scammer or something like that. The only difference is like that's technically illegal. Whereas
that's actually a really good example because everybody knows like the classic thing about like, ooh, I'm a Nigerian prince, I need you to send me this money and I'll pay you back. And we think, okay, that's stupid as hell. Who the hell would ever fall for that? Mm-hmm. But the stupidity of that is self-filtering because they want the people who are too stupid to fall for that.
Right.
Just like I think the people who make sloppy content want an audience that's too fucking like brain dead or has like no fucking standards to what they watch, because that's the type of people they want to take money from.
Exactly. So the takeaway again, my brothers
is that Hassan fans are fucking idiots.
And my non-binary friends in Christ, stop watching shit, dude. Stop watching yeah, and if you watch Hassan, maybe consider not doing that.
Get some help.
Yeah, all right, I can't hate too hard because like I've definitely watched his shit for a little bit, but it didn't take me too long to be like, yeah, this fucking sucks. Like, and there's a bunch of other people like that, but it's just like, dude, like if I really wish people could just like not look at the subscriber number and the likes number and shit like that, and really just watch something and be like, do you actually like that? Or is it just like popular content good?
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put our money where our mouth is, and a reminder: our money right now is like -$8. But that's besides the point. If you're ever listening to this show and you stop and think, "What am I getting out of this? This fucking sucks," then you know what? Stop listening, and we'll try to do better.
Dude, honestly, actually, like, hate on us in the comments. I
send
would
us
love
death
to,
threats. Show up to my house.
Yeah, I would.
No, please
I
don't
would
do that.
love to hear like honest criticism. Like, for sure. I'm not gonna fucking cry or get butt hurt.
I'll only cry a little bit.
I won't. I'll just punch the body pillow that I got with my stepdad's image print. I'm just kidding. I don't have a stepdad.
I think we all have a figurative stepdad that we can unload.
Yeah, exactly. It's just me. I'm just like, you're so stupid.
Oh, this went some places. Is there anything else that we want to bring up before we wrap up for today?
No, I mean, I think we said what we needed to say. Don't consume slop. Don't make slop. Like, it's really that simple. Watch hbomberguy. We shout him out. Yeah, that's it. And
yeah, we focused a lot on YouTube today, but I'll extend this to social media in general. You know what? Spend less time on Twitter, spend less time consuming YouTube videos. Go on a fucking, I don't know, manga website. Go read a comic book. Go read a real book. That's a bit rough. But go listen to some music. Go watch like a good movie, not some fucking like MCU bullshit or whatever. Just consume real art. Like, leave content behind. Get back into art and literature and music and good stuff.
Yeah, it's really that simple. Maybe we should
and subscribe to the show.
Yeah. Like, subscribe, share it with your slutty stepsister or your not slutty stepsister. Just either one is fine. maybe we should find like some forums and drop the link and just be like, join this forum. Actually, no, that's not a good idea.
I don't know if they still have those around.
No,
anymore.
they
the
exist.
only forum
They exist.
The only forum I'm still aware of is Something Awful, and as the name suggests, it's pretty awful.
Wait, is that still around?
Is it still up? Do we want to check this live while we're recording?
No, let's check afterwards.
All right, let's look afterwards. Find us on somethingawful.biz or whatever.
Yeah, I really need to piss.
Yeah. All right. Let's leave it for there for today. You know what to do. Share the show with your friends. Check us out. Give us shit if we ever get sloppy.
Yeah, hate in the comments, but make it relevant, make it poignant. Have an actual issue. Don't just say like, Dave, kill yourself. That's just mean.
Yeah,
give me a reason.
You want to say that?
Give me a reason.
Make it fun.
Yeah, make it funny.
Tell us
make it funny at least.
All right. Thanks for listening. See ya.
All right. Good fight. Good night.